Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Editors Forum. We're live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. So, World Press Freedom Day, May 3 every year, acts as a reminder to government around the world on the need to respect the commitment of press freedom. Gentlemen, Oba, let's begin with you. What do we have here in Nigeria as regards this issue of press freedom and even Nigerian journalists?
It's a misgrill in Nigeria. You know, we are not practicing a specific pattern of media in Nigeria. In some other countries, maybe libertarian, in some other countries, maybe authoritarian. But in Nigeria, what we have here is a misgrill. We have government involvement in the media, we have private involvement in the media. And when you want to talk about press freedom, you need to look at it from the two angles. Because it's like we are fixated on the government all of the time. Good and fine. Because the government make policies that affect all of us. Government, you know, decisions, actions and inactions go a long way in affecting what becomes of the media. But what about the private investors into the media? You know, what about the media owners themselves? Are they also guaranteeing the same press freedom that we expect the government to guarantee? You know, when you employ a graduate, you know, as a journalist, and you delay in paying his salary, is that a form of press freedom? You expect such an individual not to go to the field and hobnob with the politician who is ready to give him the envelope of whatever color that, you know, is available to give to him. Some of us, you know, it takes courage and it takes some conviction that, look, I'm not going to toe this line. It's not that the temptation is not always there. It's always there. And that's a very big issue when it comes to press freedom in Nigeria. And look at the theme for this year's celebration of World Press Freedom Day. That information for public good. Now, those people in charge of information, the journalists, for instance, they are not taking care of them. They make use of that tool for their own good and not for the good of the public. And that is where the danger is. Now, talking about the government has a whole lot of things to, you know, a lot of work to do as regards that. If you look at the index, the Press Freedom Index for this year, for 2021, Nigeria ranks 120 out of 180 countries in the world. You know, last year we were number 115. That was 2020. Now, the World Press Freedom Index now goes on to say Nigeria is now one of West Africa's most dangerous and difficult countries for journalists who are often spied on, attacked, arbitrarily arrested, or even killed. People in government, like, you know, when you have situations like this where everything is almost crumbling under their noses, they try as much as possible to hide information. They try as much as possible to ensure that certain information don't get out to the public. And how do they do that? The journalists will be at the receiving end of all of this. So they have a lot of assignment to do in that regard. Maybe because of this discussion, we may have to look at some of the solutions to some of this.
Okay, because we're pressed for time, Shegun, let's hear your thoughts, and I would like you to come in the direction of what Mr. President said. The release from Mr. President was that while we observe press freedom, we should be responsible. The question I want to ask you is, how responsible have we been? Have you and I? How have we been fed as Nigerian journalists?
Of channels, when he was trying to do the early presentation for media, she says, and I quote, that indeed the president has spoken. But the question is whether we are responsive or not. Why not the president should, why not the president look at his spokesman, both Shehu and Femi Adesina, to see how responsive they are in terms of what the president is saying. Let them do a self-introspection. And I agree with her sincerely, because the responsiveness he's talking about is for the president to be, in terms of giving the people what is expected of him. Then the journalists too, disseminating those information in the way it should be. Then on the part of the government, ensuring that there is a freedom, press freedom, and ensuring that the journalist with the FOI law is able to access all the needed information. So the responsive Maokwe Ogun was trying to analyze is for the government to do a self-introspection in terms of all the laws that backs the media, whether indeed they are responsive. Then on the part of the private journalists, whether they are doing their bit in terms of as expected of them.
Yes, so my colleagues,
yes.
In my very little years of experience in journalism, I'm still a baby in journalism. A lot of times we'll come under a lot of criticism. I mean, a lot of times people have said, people have gone to collect money, so that's why you cannot blast the government. People are going to do this, that's why I cannot do this. And
my colleague has said something very important.
How do you make Nigerians understand that look? Because a lot of times they make comparisons with the media here and the media in the US, for instance. I'm not going to mention
because we are pressed for time. Let's quickly take it.
Quickly say something.
One of the solutions is that the media information literacy. That is the noise that UNICEF is making now all over the world. The MIL, media information literacy. Many of our people, many of media consumers don't have that literacy. They don't have as much information as to the workings of the media. They don't really have a clear understanding. I'm a broadcaster, and I realize that there are two knowledge bases of broadcasting. For an instance, there's a professional knowledge base and there's a viewer's knowledge base. People watching you think, oh, is it not what they are doing? But there are more to it. There are certain things I may be able to say on our WhatsApp group outside, even as a journalist, as a broadcaster, that I may not be able to bring on the TV. So when they're asking questions out there, I think we need to really improve on our media information literacy on our various media platforms, helping our people to understand how the media works. There are laws guiding the practice of the media, which we must obey. There are certain things we are not, permitted to say here because we know the law. We are not just people picked from the streets. We were trained for this job and we've had our experiences in the past, and nobody wants to run into any serious problem. So when people ask that question, it goes to show you that people really don't understand what the media workings. But that aside, again, the media has also failed in a way, holding people in position of authority to account. And you can look at that from the perspective of the fact that media ownership in Nigeria is predominantly determined by people in position of authority. There are media ownership in Nigeria. If you look at the pattern, media houses are owned by either a politician or someone who has direct access or affiliation to one politician or a political party. So everybody is tilted towards a direction. When you read or you watch or you listen to, you may be able to tell as an expert, these people are tilted towards there. They are tilted towards there. So it's high time that people who are of independent mind started coming into the media, investing into the media. If you truly want an independent media, run a media house that is not affiliated or connected in whatever way to anybody.
Because now the issue as a station, Galaxy is not connected.
I take that. I write it.
But to add to what you have said,
not a politician.
To add to what you said, you see, government on this trying to find media houses to. Government must look at it again, with a mind of rethinking, to see that media is allowed, for their press freedom. There are ways we can communicate, through the national
press freedom that they think it affects them.
It affects them. They will go against it.
You understand?
And they will use their hammer and then begin to bring in fine. Recently, they fined one of the media platform 5 million. So all those things, government on its part must play significant role to ensure sustainable press freedom for the betterment of the Nigerian society.
It's even for their own good. That's what they don't know.